Hey there fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Arequipa, Peru, and what I wanted to do is give you some advice on tipping in Peru, because yes, you do tip in Peru because you have lots of guides and you have lots of restaurants you're going to have great food at and all kinds of stuff like that. So we're going to go through some of the basics of tipping here in Peru. First things first, when you go to a restaurant, usually you tip about 10%, okay? The locals may not tip quite as much, but a 10% tip is kind of the going rate you want to tip people when you go to a sit-down restaurant. If you're looking at taxis, you do not really tip your taxis because a lot of times you're negotiating the price for the entire ride beforehand, so it's already negotiated in the price, so you do not have to tip your taxi drivers. Now, you're going to take a lot of tours when you are here because there's so many cool things to do here, and you might not want to go on your own, so you'll take a guide. Now, if you're going to have a full day tour, usually you're going to tip about 20 soles. That's the money here, so like 20 soles for a whole day tour. If it's a half day tour, you're going to tip about 10 to 15 soles. Soles is the local money here, so you'll do that for them. Now here's the really important thing. If you're going to hike the Inca Trail, usually it's like, 2, 4, 7 day hike, these kind of things. If you're going to go one of these multi-day hikes or adventures, you're going to need to tip more than just your guide, because you've got your guide, right, that tells you what you're going to do. You have your cook that's cooking the food for you, and then you have the porters that carry the tents and all the stuff out there. So you need to tip all of them, okay? Now if you're going to be on a longer than a 2-day trip, here's kind of the breakdown of the different tipping things. So for the porters, the guy that carries the stuff, that does the hardest work, you're going to tip them between 40 and 80 soles. For the cooks, you tip about 70 to 100 soles. And for the guide, 150 to 200 soles for the whole trip. That's if you're going for these multi-day things, that they're taking you around, they're doing all the hikes, all the stuff with you, because they're really doing a lot of work there, especially if you're doing the Inca Trail. I know when I hiked the Inca Trail, a lot of the tourists were like, well, I'm not going to tip. I'm like, these guys literally carried your tents, your backpacks, your stuff for like a week, and you didn't want to give them anything. Oh, it is just beyond not cool. So make sure you do tip those porters, cooks, and yes, the guides when you do the long trips as well, not just the short ones. Anyway, if you want to learn more about coming to Peru, 10 things that'll shock you when you're here, 5 tips for visiting Arequipa, check us out on our website at woltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and we really appreciate your likes and subscriptions, and we'll say bye from Arequipa.